Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. Derby Day is just over a week away, so I think it's right we sit here today and do a Luton Town versus Watford FC combined 11. If you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe on our channel, leave a like on the video, and let me know if you agree with my combined 11 in the comment section down below. Let's get into it.
Right then, here we go. And as you can see today, I'm using the FOTMob lineup builder to build our combined Luton versus Watford 11. Now, I could sit here and be totally biased and just make the entire team full of Watford players, which I'd love to do, but that would make a very boring video. So I'll try and fit as many Watford players in as possible, but along the way, I'm sure I'll have to make a few compromises too. So let's start with the goalkeeper position. So this one was a very, very close call, of course, between Thomas Kaminski and Daniel Bachmann. But my Watford FC bias has definitely come out on this one. Look, I love Daniel Bachmann. I think he gets unfair critique at times from Watford fans. And I think he's just a nice guy generally, as well as a model professional, especially after he had the captaincy taken off of him a season or so ago, of course, and that was then subsequently given to Wesley, who he almost is still the Watford FC club captain, if you will. But in terms of being the captain on the field, at the moment, that is Musa Sissoko. But Bachmann has a lot of great traits. Playing out from the back sometimes is probably his weakness, but in terms of leadership, shot stopping, penalty stopping, most importantly as well, is very good at too. So for me, yes, Daniel Bachmann just about edges this one. Right, again, this was another difficult selection for me, and I'm not quite sure if he plays as a right back for Luton, but he has played in this position many times in his career before, at Chelsea as well, in kind of a right wing back position. And actually, this is going to be the first Luton Town player that I've put in the lineup today, and he's a player I've liked for quite a long time, actually. And I was surprised to see him sign for Luton very recently. And as you can see, that is Victor Moses, who I have put in to that right wing back slot. I could have quite easily put in Ryan Andrews for Watford or Festi Ebisele, but I think with both of them players, they're a little bit young and inexperienced for this game. So if I'm making, the strongest, most experienced 11 out of both squads combined, I do think you have to have someone like Victor Moses in there. So I do apologise, Watford fans. Of course, I'd love to put Ryan Andrews in there, who has had a great start to the season, as has Festi Ebisele. But yeah, Victor Moses is a player I really liked at Chelsea, and I do feel like he can bring a lot of leadership and experience to that Luton team. So Victor Moses is my right back choice. Now, you haven't noticed already, we have chosen the 4-3-3 formation for the team today. So yes, Victor Moses is in as my right back choice. Now, this one was very easy for me to choose. Right centre back in this formation has got to be the main man, Matty Pollock, who has really become one of Watford's best defenders this season. He joined the club all the way back in 2021, I believe, and didn't really get a look in until halfway through last season, when Valérien Ismaël kind of threw him in for a few games. But Tom Cleverley has trusted him. He's given him a leadership type of role as well in that back line. And Matty Pollock is really thriving in the Watford team at the moment. I believe he still has the most aerial duels and headers won in the Championship as well, which is of course a great statistic to have. And he won the header for Kwadwo Bar's winning goal in the last Watford match as well. So Matty Pollock is a very easy selection for me at right centre back. The next position to choose was left centre back alongside Matty Pollock, and I was very, very close to choosing Tengen Mengi for this position, who is very highly rated by Luton fans. Once again, like Kaminski, he had a decent season in the Premier League last time around, but I'm sure Luton fans can even admit that Angelo Ogbonna is a fantastic signing for Watford given our current situation. He's played previously both at West Ham United and Juventus, as well as the Italian national team. He's won the UEFA Conference League in recent seasons as well, and has hundreds of appearances in the Premier League. He signed on for Watford on a 1-year contract with the option to extend for a further year, and he slots so nicely into that left centre-back role in this 4-3-3 formation. So for me, yes, Mengi could have potentially been in there, but I can't look past Angelo Ogbonna. He's a quality player. He ages like a fine Italian wine, as I've said before. So yes, Angelo Ogbonna is in this combined 11 for me. Right, next up is left back or left wing back, however you really want to look at it. And yeah, there is no complaints from me on this one. As much as I despise Luton Town and its fans as a club, Alfie Doherty is a fantastic football player. I believe he was courted by other Premier League clubs this summer as well. Luton have managed to retain him. I believe he may have signed a new contract, actually. Do correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe he may have signed an extended contract with Luton in the summer to kind of fend off any interest from other interested parties. But Alfie Doherty, look, comparing him to Watford's left-back options, there's not really any competition there. We've got Yasser Larouchi, we've got Ken Sema, and then we've got James Morris potentially in that position as well. So you compare our three options to Luton's main man in Doherty. Yeah, there really is no competition. Crossing and set pieces is, of course, his best attribute. And I think he slots nicely into this team, actually. So fair play for Luton for securing Doherty's future, at least in the short term anyway, of course, because he certainly is a fantastic player. Okay, moving into midfield, and it's another Watford FC selection for me. Watford are quite limited in terms of midfield options this season. There's only really 4 options to choose from in Pierre Duomo, Imran Louza, Tom Deli-Bashiru, and Musa Sissoko. And for one of my selections today, I've gone with Tom Deli-Bashiru, who, once again, a bit like Matty Pollock, has kind of had a breakthrough year and a half at Watford in terms of the amount of fixtures and matches he's playing at the club. And Tom Deli, for me, is a player who has a number of fantastic attributes, most notably his ball carrying ability and how tenacious he is in that midfield area. So for me, Tom Deli-Bashiru, or Tom Deli-Bashiru, I should say, is how you pronounce his name, is a nailed-on pick for me in the centre of the park. Right then, here we go. The 2 other additions to our midfield today, and Luton fans will be happy with this. I do apologise to Watford fans. I am very, very sorry, but I can't argue with this one, really. Tahith Chong and Marvellous Nakamba make up the other 2 midfield options. So to take you through the team so far, we have Daniel Bachmann in goal, Victor Moses at right back, Matty Pollock, Angelo Ogbonna, and Alfie Doherty. And then we have Tahith Chong, Tom Deli-Bashiru, and Marvellous Nakamba in midfield. And that midfield, really, look at that. I mean, you've got strength, you've got technical ability, you've got defensive knowledge in there as well. You've got a lot of different attributes in that midfield area. So actually, looking at that team so far, as much as I hate to say it, for me, it feels quite well balanced, really. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied, I would say, with that team so far. And Tahith Chong, of course, formerly of United, and Marvellous Nakamba, formerly of Aston Villa, I believe, as well. So Luton Town have 2 fantastic midfield players there, and yeah, no complaints about them 2 selections from me, really. And what I would say, actually, before we move on to the final part of our team, is that if Ross Barkley was still a Luton Town player, I think we may have been seeing 3 Luton Town players in the midfield today. Because I have to say, from a Watford perspective, and this season generally, our midfield has been a weak point. And looking ahead, further ahead to the Derby day itself and how Luton will look to set up against Watford, the 2 in midfield, in Musa Sissoko and Tom Bashiru, can really be targeted, especially Sissoko, who really struggles to track back at times. So yeah, I think Ross Barkley, again, I've mentioned this before, is a massive loss to Luton. I do wish, if I was a Luton fan looking at it, I do wish Barkley would have stayed with them for one more season. But understandably, Barkley got a fantastic move to Villa, and he's playing Champions League football at the moment. So you can't really blame him for making that move. But as I said, if Barkley was still a Luton player, I think I would have had to have chose him today. So yeah, a big miss for Luton. But yeah, in Tahith Chong and Marvelous Nakamba, they still have 2, really good midfield options there as well. Okay, so I have chosen 2 out of the 3 attacking positions in this 4-3-3 formation. And yeah, I do apologise, Luton fans, once again, but I've got to back the boys on this one. Georgie Shakfatatse is arguably the best player in the Championship at the moment, really. So he has to be included in the squad. I mean, I can't sit here and really praise Georgie any more than I have already. He is such a fantastic football player. I think he starts for any Championship side at the moment. I think he would start actually for the majority of Premier League side as well, at least the ones outside of the top 6. He is so good. He's recently signed a new 5-year contract with Watford, which is really just us increasing his value when we eventually do sell him on, whether it be in January or next summer. So Georgie, for me, has to be included. The other decision was a little bit more difficult for me, but again, he started the season really well. He's already got 4 goals in the Championship this season, and that is Edu Kayembe, who is a bit hit and miss with Watford fans, actually. Some people love him, some people hate him, but one of his best attributes is his ability to strike the ball from distance, outside the box, and challenge the goalkeeper, and he's done that to great effect this season, just scoring actually in our recent victory over Sunderland at Vicarage Road as well. So for his goal scoring ability and his physicality generally in them attacking positions, Edo Kayembe is in there for me alongside Georgie. So now we just have to choose our striker. Right, there we go. The final selection has been made, and that selection is Carlton Morris as my number 9 in this team. As much as I regret and hate to say it, Watford have really struggled to have a prolific striker since Troy Deeney left the club, really. And Carlton Morris does remind me of Deeney in terms of some of his physical attributes, being able to run in behind, finish, penalty taking. He has all the attributes to be a fantastic number 9, and we saw that in the Premier League last season. I believe he got double digits in the Premier League for Luton Town. In the season before, he hit 20 Championship goals. And yeah, when you look at Watford's striking options, we are really nowhere near that at all. We have Daniel Jefferson, who we brought in on loan from Bournemouth, who hasn't actually scored a goal yet. We've got Vacuum Bio, who quite frankly, I can't really say what I think about Bio, but he certainly isn't the answer to Watford's striking problems. And then we have Mamadou Doumbia, who is a 18-year-old option who is really too young to be starting games at the moment. So again, this is quite a simplistic choice for me to make. Carlton Morris is a classic number 9. He offers everything. He's already got 2 goals this season. Probably not the start he wanted, but in terms of looking at Luton's other strikers, Adebayo really isn't cutting the mustard at the moment. So yeah, Carlton Morris was an easy choice for me. So yeah, that is the Watford versus Luton combined 11. Let's take a quick look at the team one more time before we head off. So it's Daniel Batman in goal. goal, Victor Moses, Matty Pollock, Angelo Ogbonna, and Alfie Doherty. We then have Marvellous Nakamba, Tom Deli Bashiru, and Tahith Chong in that midfield three. And then looking at the attack, we have Georgie Shafatatse, Colton Morris, and Edo Kayembe. So yeah, looking at the team, the only player I maybe regret putting in now, looking back in hindsight, is probably Victor Moses. I may have put in either Ryan Andrews or Festi Ebisele, but I still think the team overall is quite well balanced. You have a mix of quite young players, but also some experienced players in there as well. So yeah, you know, I'm quite pleased with the combined 11, to be honest. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the Watford Way, and there'll be plenty of Luton Town versus Watford content coming up in the next week or so. A similar content to this video, of course, we'll be doing our match preview ahead of the game. On game day itself, we'll be doing a live match watch along here on the channel. I couldn't get tickets as I'm not in a high enough Watford away group. So if you are not going to the game, you can join me here and watch it live on the channel. And then, of course, we will be doing our post-match Luton reaction as well. Hopefully, from a Watford perspective, we will be talking about a big win and 3 points coming back to Hertfordshire. So, yes, I'm looking forward to it. That's my Watford Luton combined 11. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments section down below, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.